It's time for Monday Soul Deliciousness. So give you a second to hop on. We are going to talk about reacting and responding. And I'm also going to teach you a little bit about why, depending on what energy space we're in, we tend to do things a certain way. So if you are new here, first of all, welcome to the tribe. My name is Amy Jorgensen, and I have a master's in education, and this is my purpose and passion is helping others to find joy. So, what I love to do in these lives, I'm a firm believer of just being able to get up and take action. So, watch my videos, I give you the tools. I give you something to chew on so that you can actually start making some changes in your life. So, we're going to talk about reacting and responding. And I love teaching this stuff, but it's phenomenal. So, you don't want to miss any of my videos, I actually posted one yesterday. It's really good on my YouTube channel. You can find me on Honest Sassy Mama, but I also have the link posted in the comments. But I did this really cool video on gene expression yesterday. And for those of you that get really stuck on, I inherited it from someone. It really goes into some like easy to understand, but detail. Hello, hi, Tina from Vermont. It goes into some detail on like exactly how we get trapped in this space where we're like, oh, I have this inherited illness or disease or whatever, because your subconscious hears everything that you say. It hears everything that everyone else says. So if you think about the conditioning that comes from being told your entire life, this is genetic, so and so had it, so you're going to be predisposed to get it. I mean, that's how our subconscious works. Like you do that, I guarantee you're going to align yourself to flow right into that. So I talk a lot about that, but in a very understandable way. Okay. So tonight or this afternoon, whatever it happens to be for you, depending on whichever, I almost said whatever flight zone you're in. Yes, whatever flight zone you happen to be flying in. So that's just part of my pilot background coming out there. Every once in a while, I start mumbling about military terminology that, no one has any idea what I'm talking about. But okay, so let's do this. Um, Also, too, just as Tina did, I love it if you say hello and where you're from today. So let's talk about scientifically measurable. When I say everything is energy, I have to caveat with something. As you dive into this and you start listening, I want you to understand something. Coming from a background where I can't get enough education. I have 2 master's degrees. I have a bachelor's degree. I have multiple certifications in lots of stuff like hypnosis and NLP, all kinds of things. Okay. And then I also have the Soul Centered Academy, which is a process that I created. It's a 3-step system where I teach people how to release traumas and emotions and toxic phrases from their past. And then we align with who you are authentically so you can pull your energy into the present. And then we learn how to actually manifest correctly. Yes, there are ways to manifest incorrectly. So if you're one of those people that's like, good, I try to manifest all the time and nothing seems to quite happen, that's just simply because you're just not you. I don't want to say you're doing it wrong, because that sounds like it's kind of like your fault. Not what you don't know, right? Okay, so I'm telling you that because I'm the type of person that I love to see the proof. So, scientifically measurable, everything is an energy, everything has a vibration. Colors have a vibration. My cup that I'm drinking my, afternoon trying to stay alive coffee out of has a vibration. Everything has a vibration. Let me hide my little pumpkin thing. You have a vibration, measurable vibrations. There's a book out there, and I think it's Power versus Force. I don't know. I moved them. I actually cleaned and put all my books on the bookshelf back there, but it talks about the different emotions. But you can measure emotions, so they can measure emotions off of people that they know are feeling a specific way. And so, I mean, if you think about how you feel when you're happy, when you're feeling joy, when you're feeling abundance, when you're just on top of the world, compared to how you feel when you're angry or fearful or sad, it's obvious to you. Those There's a differentiation right there between how you're feeling. And so it's because it's measurable, and emotions are simply chemical reactions or energies that are measurable. So You can be in a low vibrational state based off of what you're worried about. You can be in a neutral vibrational state. You can be in a high vibrational state. So neutral is a great place to be. As much as, it'd be super cool if we could live in a high vibrational state 24/7, there are times when, in fact, being in this super high vibrational state actually can take a toll on you just because it's so adrenaline pumping, so kind of like in a euphoric. It also, being in a neutral state is where we talk about being able to kind of flow, being able to take what comes and not react or respond to it. So let's talk about exactly how this works. Now, this is where we're going to get really good into some dimensional space stuff. Now, before I really started becoming knowledgeable about energy work, and oh, by the way, how did I even get into this desperation? So it's almost October 28th. Right now, if you're watching live, it's October 24th. So 4 days from now, it will be 5 years since my daughter passed away. And when she did, I lost myself, completely lost myself. I had gone through another traumatic experience 3 years before that. I couldn't do it anymore. I was in a very narcissistic, abusive marriage, and I couldn't do it. And I remember going to, my doctor and just being like, because of my personality, as a pilot, pilots don't ever get sick. We're not allowed to have medication. You certainly, as a pilot, don't get to go and get any kind of mental health type help, because you're not allowed to fly if you are not on top of your game. So, what a way to teach people how to hide things. But also, I understand the purpose. But anyway, I was in a bad space. And so I went to the doctor. I got prescribed medication. I went to a therapist and waited for the magic to happen, and nothing did. I ran across a beautiful book. I started getting into energy work, and I realized, dang, this stuff is real. And then as I started working on clients, it's just not deniable. For those of you that have done sessions with me before, you understand what I'm saying, because wow, I don't like to call them miracles because we're creating our own reality, but that's literally what they would be defined as. Okay, so let me talk to you about different energies. And I just want you to think about it to make it simple, because we're going to go into some quantum physics right now. And if you're like me, you're like, what now? Right? I suck at math. How'd you be a pilot if you suck at math? I'm really smart at figuring out how to make it through things that are hard. So anyway, we're going to talk about these physical realms though. So the first one I should think of it is, this is where most people are. If you haven't done any diving into this subject matter, which I will tell you, when you allow yourself to do this and you clear away some past conditioning, so lots of like religious beliefs that prevented me from entering into this space. And when you get rid of those and you can really embrace this, it's life-changing, absolutely life-altering. Okay. So people will hear me joke when I say the mortals don't understand. And when I'm talking about the mortals, right, if you follow my Facebook page and you watch me, I just try to be so real. So you will see I have a very dynamic personality. I have a very love, help, live, light, love part of me. And then I also have I'm going to whoop you up, because that's just who I am. And I don't try to be anything that I'm not. And I've had coaches before be like, Amy, you have to pick something, like you're like all over the place. And I'm like, no, because I want people to see this. I have a very dynamic, very diverse personality. You kind of earn what you get. And so, that's just how it is. But talking about the physical realm, when I talk about, the mortals, that's just because this is the place where people are so stuck on what they've been taught. Like, they're not able to look outside the box at all. So they are so stuck in this space. So we call this the third dimension, or it's like, I like to say this is where misery lives. Okay. This is because this is where all the stuff you get taught in school, the physical realm, right? Newton's laws. This is where it is. Now, they're very real, mind you, but this is the space that is in. And the reason that this is a space of misery is because the physical place is a space of cause and effect. Okay. So the problem with that is it's also the space where we like to be victims. Okay. We like to be victims of our circumstance. We like to say, I'm so tired of this happening to me instead of things happening for me. And then we just live in this place, like, right? I can't stay successful with anything or stick to my career because I was abused when I was 5 by my uncle. And this is just hypothetically. I was abused when I was 5 by my uncle. And so therefore I am addicted to medication, and that's who I am. Okay. Right. It's the victim mentality. So you don't want to live in the victim mentality. That's a physical realm. Also fear-based living. So I have people all the time like, do you watch in the news? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I don't watch it. Well, Amy, how do you know what's going on? I'm telling you something. Since before COVID started is about when I really began detaching myself and understanding the different quantum energies. I was a practitioner before then, but I really got into the space of energies and different dimensions around that time. And, talk about us all being like fear-based living. I just stopped watching. And then the only reason I knew anything that was going on is because I would work with a client that would talk about it at some point. And I have no idea, really. Unless someone specifically tells me, I have no idea what's going on in the world. And then I want you to know something about that. Here I am. I'm fully alive and well, and I have no idea what's happening because I'm living not in this third dimensional space. To me, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. So then there's the fourth. This is the space where you have some detachment. So a lot of people that are working on themselves, they're really pretty good at this. They've figured out how to detach themselves. So you can think of like people that are like, oh, money isn't everything. They're understanding that there's more to life than just slaving away at their jobs. Sometimes the coffee just hits good. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just right there. And I don't remember what flavor I'm having, but I think it's actually apple pie. Totally fitting, right? So you're able to detach yourself from the space. There's still some back and forth. So this is where most people are really good at this. You'll get, you'll do something that helps you detach, a hobby. This is why people tell you to do things like self-care, meditation, doing exercising, all this type of stuff, kind of detaching you from that space. When I ride horses, it's like an automatic detachment from any worry that I have, because when I'm on my horse, I'm in that space. I have no idea what's going on, and I'm not worried about anything. Okay. Think about too, one of the ways to kind of think about this really easily is I want you to think about when you very first wake up in the morning. And it's almost like you have to think about where you are for a second. And then it all comes flooding back, right? So I'm talking about that moment just before it all comes flooding back. That's what it feels like to be kind of in that neutral space. So you have some detachment, but then, you get a trigger and something comes back. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the fifth dimensional space. Now, how do you get to this place? It takes some work. Now, I don't like to say it's hard, because then what do? I pre-program your subconscious to be like, ooh, it's hard. So if it's hard, I'm not going to try it. Right? Power of words. So getting in the fifth dimensional space isn't hard. It just takes some effort, because you have to understand what exactly it is that you're doing, so that you can align your subconscious mind and your cognitive mind to follow this space. So here's the cool thing. Now, I have people that when I talk about this, sometimes they come to me and they're very resistant. Okay. Because they'll say things like, Amy, you can't live in a fairyville all the time. You're not a unicorn galloping across the pasture. And I say, touche, but I am. Okay. Or someone will say, you can't always be in this happy space. You have to deal with reality. Okay. There is nothing further from the truth. If someone tells you you have to deal with reality, cool. I create my reality. So you're right. I have to deal with reality, but I am the creator of my own reality, and you are the creator of your own reality. And your reality is not the same reality as mine. My kid, my middle child, it was been maybe a year or so ago. He came to me one day and he's like, do you know that you are like I don't remember how many he said. He's really into statistics. So don't quote me on this. I'll just throw out a number. He's like, do you know you're like 30 different people? And I was like, you know, sure I am, because that's just me. But he's like, no, really. He's like, if you think about it, and he had been reading a book or something, and he was like, you are a different person to every single person that knows you. And that's completely true. The more that I get into my purpose and my passion, the more haters I create. And I made a post the other day that I said, you know, if you're really aligned with what you're supposed to be doing and you're being really authentic, the divide is big, okay? Because you're not pacifying people, you're not people pleasing. So you're missing this large group of people that you're just like, oh, you know, I like her, she's nice, whatever. Because when you're being really authentic and you're being 100% yourself, you're really in a space where you're not people pleasing at all. So people are going to love you, or they're going to absolutely detest and hate you. So I tell people, like, hey, if you got a hater club, more power to you, because you're probably doing things right. Because that means you're not just aligning with what everybody wants to hear. So, right. I mean, I've seen people where I'm like, who are you? Because you're a certain person when you're around this group, and you're a certain person when you're around this group, and you're a certain person when you're around this group, and you're modifying your personality like a chameleon so you can fit into a space. So you have all these people that like you, and it's not an authentic place to be. Okay. You know, and I know it's hard because I have family members who, now that I am my authentic true self, I'm not trying to be who I think my family wants me to be. I have people in my family that don't like me, and that's okay, because I'm living in my authentic space. And I understand that in that place, my vibrational energy is not comfortable for some people. Okay. So when you're in this higher dimension, you tend to live in this space of what we call neutrality. And this means that, I'm going to tell you in a second too why this is so important, and that you're going to have your aha moment. But living in this space of neutrality, it allows you to, and I use this word very lightly, it allows you to not live in a space of expectation. Now, I don't want you to take that and say, I don't have any expectations for great things to happen for me. That's not what I mean. I mean to say that you're not surprised by whatever happens. You just allow it to happen. Or I shouldn't even say surprise. Let's use resistance. You're not resistant to whatever happens. Now, that doesn't mean that you live in a space where you're like, ooh, I'm going to get this job and I have an expectation, or I'm going to apply for this job and I have an expectation that I don't want to have an expectation that I'm not going to get it. That's not what I'm saying, because you do want to have an expectation that if you apply for a job that you are going to get it. That can, right? Family is going to hate. I think family hates the most, and that's simply because they think they can get away with it, right? People that aren't our family are like, who, they have a little bit more reservation and a little more manners when it comes to how rude they are. But to you for your own family, like, right, they're like, whatever. There's no holding back there. But yeah, I'm with you. Okay, so I have an expectation because that's part of how I manifest. Is you manifest into a space where you have lived it. So you use the now moment, but you live in that space and you do it in such detail that it's already happened for you, so that your energy and your mind and the universe actually aligns to give you exactly what you imagine. So when you work with me and I talk to you about manifesting, and oh, by the way, I'm going to do a course that you can buy in the Soul Centered Academy, because if you do so, you bring in exactly what you manifest, exactly how you see it. So when I talk to people about manifesting, I'm like, I want you to put yourself in that space. I want you to go down to the detail of what you're wearing. I want to know what jeans you have on. I want to know the design on the pocket. I want to know the color of your shirt you're wearing when this happens for you. I want to know the perfume you have on, what it smells like, how you have your hair done. That's how you do it. Okay. Because the closer you can get to getting yourself to actually be right there, that's how you bring stuff to you. So yes, I do want you to have expectations that great things are happening, but I also want you to take that to a different spot of, we allow ourselves to flow without resistance for what is happening to us. Because, great, I can manifest beautiful things for myself all day long, but I'm not going to stop things from occurring. That's not what that is about. It's allowing you to respond and react. So if my heater blows up, I don't respond to it with an emotional chaos of panic, of being mad, of being angry, of being whatever, right? I don't release that. Instead, if my heater blows up, I'm in a space of neutrality and I accept what is, and then I flow with it and I fix it, and I don't get attached to the fact of, in that realm of, how much money did this just cost me? How much time did I just spend trying to fix this? This ruined my day. Because guess what? None of that's going to change anything. If my heater blows up, my heater blows up. Whining and moaning and complaining about it, all I'm doing is releasing negative chemicals that are wearing my body away. It's not actually helping me to positively do anything. So that's what I mean by living in this neutral space. Okay, now here's the reason why. Hi, buddy. Are you okay?
No, can you hit me in my nose with his head?
Okay, I'll be right there. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. Your tablet is in my room, buddy, plugged in. Okay, so let me tell you why this is so important to figure this out. You attract what you vibrate, okay? And so usually this is something that we talk about, like, oh, we're going to bring in something positive in your space because your vibrational level is attracting this beautiful thing. You have this, talk about this in human design, where you have a magnetic monopole that actually brings to you, it's like a GPS that attracts to you, okay? It brings you right to the space that you need to be. And then when your magnetic monopole is aligned, you attract exactly what is in your highest divine good. Okay. So one of the things that people really overlook is that I want you to think about pathogens. Okay. Most people have been talking a lot about pathogens in the past couple of days. The reason, a pathogen, what kind of vibration do you think a pathogen has? Pathogen has a low vibration, a lower vibration. So if I'm living in fear, if I'm living in resentment, if I'm living in anger, if I'm living in whatever. So let's say that I have a moment where I am just, I love the word peeved. So let's say that I have a moment and I'm really peeved at something. And I'm also just happen to be tired. Like I have lots of stuff building up. I'm hungry. I'm tired. I'm peeved. I'm just vibration low. I'm a low vibration. Guess what I attract? If there's a pathogen, which there is everywhere, pathogens are, right? Prions, viruses, bacteria, funguses, also like little bacterias. They do this really gross thing. Well, it's not really gross. It's actually quite a phenomenon where in order to protect themselves, they build this like little biofilm around themselves so that they can become protected from cleaners, and you can actually have reactions from just the biofilm. You can think of it as like kind of a slime that they develop so that when they get cleaned, it doesn't kill them. And so that's how they evolve. Okay. So you can be affected by those too. So lots of biotype toxin things, pathogens, parasites, parasites come in all shapes and forms, yo. They're like, you know, like your friends that live in your stomach and create havoc. Okay, so these are all low vibrations. So if I'm living in a space where I'm in that 3-dimensional space where I'm like I'm being victimized, I'm being the cause and effect, and I'm vibrating at this low level, I become really susceptible to having an attachment with with some type of a pathogen. Okay. And that's one of the reasons that we get sick. So, I mean, think about it. When you are really worn out, what happens usually? I mean, at least for me, if I allow myself to get in a space where I'm really worn out, what's going to happen? I'm going to get sick, right? And there's the reason for it. And I just told you that. It's just that conditioned wise, you know, we don't get taught that we're energies and we're attracting the same vibration. So if I'm vibrating at a higher space, then what do? I repel. Viruses don't want to attach to me because you attach and attract your same frequency vibration. Let's take this one step further. What do you think happens when you're around a certain person? If I'm a complainer and I'm negative, or I have an attachment to my past where I can't get over the fact that, I was abused, what do you think I attract? Yep, right? Ooh, I've been there, done that before. Attracted myself a narcissistic abuser, right? It's game changer when you figure out how to change your vibration. You attract beautiful things instead of stuff. And then we don't understand because cognitively you're like, why the heck would I do that? Well, you don't mean to. It's just that you're not in a healed space and you haven't cleared out all this stuff. Okay. So there you go, guys. I know that's a lot. Experience what you perceive. So I'm going to recap a little bit. It's important to understand your body on an energy level. Now, I know this is a lot because I've been here and I've been studying it for so long. So I'm just going to tell you too. I love giving. I love giving. I love teaching. So you can always find lots of resources on my Facebook pages. I have a group that you can join, which is in the comments section. I have a website that you can hop on if you want. If you're like, man, I really want to work on myself, but I kind of got to get past that like bump, right? Kind of get going. I worked with a client this weekend. She was like, I just have to get back into it. I need that little boost, right? It's kind of like having a shot of vitamin B. You can do a one-on-one session with me, or I have the Soul Delicious Academy. So you can sign up for a course. You can take it at your own pace. You can become a practitioner. If you're an empath and you're like, I feel so lost because all I do is absorb energies, but I know that I have this purpose and this passion, and I know I'm meant to help people. I just don't know how. I have a practitioner group. I teach a course on how you can learn to dive into your intuitive skill set. And if you're like, well, I don't have that gift, it's not a gift. Intuition isn't a gift. You all have it. It's just learning how to use it and understanding how it works. And that's sorry, I got distracted because I saw a comment. That's how you can get into your intuitive center. I didn't know I was intuitive, really. I knew there was something there because I could sense things, but I had no idea the level at which I could hear things, see things, intuitively respond to stuff until I really started working on that part of my soul. And now it's incredible, the types of things that I can see and hear, and it's amazing. And if you've done sessions with me, you know, because I'll tell you something that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and you'll be like, oh, I totally know what you're talking about. I know the specific event that you are seeing because I remember my dog doing this and this and this, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense because I can only see it in pieces. It's really cool. All right. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. So you can hop over there, get some resources. I'm going to make a new journal. I found the cutest Christmas graphics. So if you haven't checked out any of my journals, this is what they look like. They're on Amazon. You can find them by just searching. The easiest way is just to search for my name, Amy Thane Jorgensen, or you can go on Blocked Emotions, and I have a link to my journals, but they're really cool. So they have a page where you can journal each day. I'm huge on non-negotiable items. Remember, you just do your 3 non-negotiable items. It doesn't matter how big or small they are. The point is you want your non-negotiable items to be done at the end of the day because your subconscious just views that as a win. So sometimes my non-negotiables are really simple. If I wake up and I'm not feeling it, they might be doing the laundry, making a phone call to take care of a bill, and making dinner. I mean, very simple. And then there are going to be other days where my non-negotiable items are creating a YouTube video, saving the world from hate. I mean, they're just big, okay? Because I go off of how my energy is in the morning. But pick 3, because when you get them done, align with how you're feeling so you get them done, because as you do this, you will start aligning yourself to be successful every day by getting the 3 done, and your subconscious will start viewing you as a winner that you are, and then you'll continue to be successful with that. There's a little space for affirmations, gratitude, because gratitude is a game changer, and a little recharge section. But then there's noodling. That's what I call it. I don't call it journaling. I call it noodling because I can't. Okay, so they're super cute. I have a whole bunch of them. They come in paperback or hardback, and you can get them off Amazon. Okay, you guys, there you go. Blessed be. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your whatever day it is, Monday, and I will see you same time, same place next week.